Hello, this is Ken Guscott, continuing the demonstration series about the down and dirty roster printer. We will take a look at address labels. The demo film on user-defined fields also gives an example of using labels, so you might want to take a look at that. Now, very often we only need a few labels. So begin by finding the members and tagging the associated records. We'll open our roster and let's say I want to go to Mr. Smith, and let's say I want to go to Mr. Jones. I have two tagged records, that's just fine. Return to main. Next we select the down and dirty roster printer by going to Reports, Print Roster Information, and the tagged records. When we open the printer utility, we select Label, and now we can start with our address labels. Formatted name, first last is probably good for address, and we add that. Row 2, the street address, add that. Row 3, city, state, zip, add that. Now let's take a closer look, and it looks as though our font is not a good selection for a label, so let's go into the it's Arial Narrow 10 at the moment, so let's go into the font selection here and go to Arial and perhaps size 12 and try that. Now that looks a lot better. The next thing we do is to barcode, and now you can see our labels. Now the next thing you'd want to do is to locate them on your label sheet. Now if it's a new sheet, everything is fine. It's going to print where it's shown here on the top two labels. Oh, and by the way, when you zoom out, sometimes you do get the idea that the label is overflowing and the barcode doesn't fit. You must always view the label in the magnified mode to get the true idea of what it's actually going to print like. Anyway, let's suppose that our label sheet is a partial label sheet, and notice that I'm getting rid of labels on this thing. These are going to go to the next available label. Once we've located them on the sheet, now we can print them. We would press on the print thing and select our printer and click on print. In this particular case, I don't want to actually waste any of my labels, so I'm going to cancel and return to main. Now the down and dirty roster printer can also print what I call a foreign label. Suppose that you just need a label for something other than Power Squadron use. Now, in order to open the down and dirty roster printer, it needs at least one tagged record. So we have to go and tag any record at random. We can do this by opening any grid at all, it doesn't matter. Clear existing tags and simply tag the top record and go back to main. Now we'll select the down and dirty roster printer as before, and we will go to our labels. Now the underlying data for auto insertion belongs to the tagged record, so we cannot use the automatic insertion. So what we need to do instead is to enter everything as a text item. So we select row 1 and select text item and type in the name. For example, and add. Next we select row 2 and going back to the text item, we type in the street address. Shall we say 100 Main Street, and add. Next we go to row 3 and We put in our city, state, and zip. So we say New York, NY 12345 as a zip code, and add. Now, very, very important. In order that the Down and Dirty Roster printer can handle foreign labels, the coding is designed so that it uses the actual text that appears in the label layout, and it is extremely important that there be a comma after the city name. If you don't put the comma in, it won't know how to barcode. So now I'm going to barcode, and we can see that we have our foreign label. So now if we need this, we can print it, but I won't print it. I am simply going to return to main. There isn't too much more to say about labels. Of course, you can print just about anything on the label using the text item. It need not necessarily be an address label. It could be a label for something else, a file folder perhaps. Anyway, it's an extremely easy utility to use as an address labeler, and I hope you get some use out of it.